Today I'm going to demo a small set of bolt cutters. What's happening, Panda Nation? Peter Von Panda here. I've got a small set of bolt cutters. They don't look that small when I hold them right up to the camera like this. Woo! These are pretty inexpensive. It's a 14-inch set of bolt cutters. They actually make bolt cutters that are smaller, but I thought, you know, if you get too small, they're just kind of like big scissors. Now, the reason I got this is actually pretty specific. I was actually talking to Dual Survival's Joe Tedeye, and we were talking about bug out bags. And one of the things that he was talking about is that people fill bug out bags with a lot of tools, and generally they're filling them with tools that they won't need in a bug out situation. So you probably don't need a Leatherman, a corkscrew, an awl, a hole punch, something to undo bolts. What you really need in a situation where it's an emergency is the ability to cut things off, to get through a chain link fence, to cut off a small padlock. If you are inside a building somewhere and the only way to get out is to cut a chain, if you don't have the right tool for that, or a padlock on a container of propane tanks is the only thing that's stopping you from staying warm, or heating up food, or starting a generator, or whatever it might be. This is really important. So he was actually making the case for a set of small bolt cutters like this, and I was sold on it. So I don't have this, and in fact I realized, yeah, I do have all sorts of weird stuff. Bowie knives, and binoculars, and a bunch of other stuff that I probably don't need. And this is probably something, despite the fact that it's big, it's a little heavy. This is by WORKPRO. I think this is chromoly steel here, so it should be pretty serious. These bars here feel like they are hollow, but they are really strong. And we have these rubberized grips right up here. They're kind of like a harder plastic. It's not like a soft rubber, but they fit my hand really well. And there's a pretty decent amount of resistance here because you are moving the handles quite a bit, and you can see you're only moving these snippers a little bit, so you're getting that mechanical advantage. Now, I'm not gonna just trust my life to a set of small bolt cutters without giving it a try. So I picked up this Master Lock. So it's a brand you know, a brand you trust. This is bigger than the tiny little locks you'll put on luggage. Now, I didn't want to get a huge lock because I thought I've cut off regular size locks with regular size bolt cutters, and you can do it. It's not super easy, but it's not super hard. And I really wanted to see if you could get a lock like this off. Like I said, it's bigger than those really tiny luggage ones, but it's not as big as a full-size Master Lock. And I know the hardened steel in these Master Locks is pretty decent. So I wanted to see if this was going to be enough to cut through this, because if it is, I'll have zero doubts that I can get through a chain link fence, a lock this big or even smaller, those types of things. So thought we would just try it out here. I'm going to do my best just to balance it on there. Obviously this would be hanging up on something usually, and I just want to see if I can get this off. So I'm going to go ahead and squeeze. Did it go? Now, what you might have heard there is I had a pretty big snap, and looks like we went all the way through the lock. So I was able to get this off. Now I will say I wasn't able to do it just by squeezing it like this. Got to do some more reps. But I was able to kind of put it in my chest like this and squeeze it together and break through that. So that's pretty big, and you can see I don't really have any visible damage. It looks like maybe there's a slight marking on the edge of the blade right there. But after this test, I would definitely say that small locks, those really tiny locks, chain link fence, small bolts, those types of things are going to be removable with a small set of bolt cutters. So if you need 14-inch bolt cutters like this for your bug out bag, maybe just tools at home, well, I'll put a link to this one in the description below. Peter Von Panda, out.
We can discover more and explore so much deeper.